Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to have you here today. We'll be exploring a fascinating topic, the science of falling in love too quickly and why rushing love can often lead to pain. In this presentation, we'll look at what happens when love moves too fast, why it happens, and how we can navigate these feelings more wisely. So let's dive in and uncover what science has to say about falling in love, sometimes too fast. Falling in love can feel truly intoxicating. When it happens, your emotions surge. It's like a rush that takes over you. Your attention becomes laser-focused on that one person, and suddenly, they feel like the center of your universe. It's an incredible feeling, but it's important to recognize that this rush can also be dangerous. When we fall in love too quickly, it often blinds us to reality. We might overlook important signs or red flags because we're caught up in the excitement. This can lead to unhealthy attachments, where our feelings aren't grounded in real understanding. And ultimately, rushing into love can set us up for disappointment and heartbreak. That's why it's so crucial to approach love with a bit of patience and awareness. Recognizing these patterns helps us make smarter choices and build healthier relationships. This idea ties into the overall theme of the presentation, learning how to love wisely and avoid pitfalls that come from rushing into things. In this slide, I want to highlight a really interesting video titled, "The Science of Falling in Love Too Quickly." It points out 3 common mistakes that many of us make when we rush into relationships without really thinking things through. These mistakes are quite relatable, and understanding them can help us build healthier connections. First, we often mistake intense feelings for true compatibility. That rush of excitement can cloud our judgment, making us overlook important differences or red flags. Second, there's the tendency to idealize our partner early on, which can lead to disappointment later when reality sets in. And third, some people skip the crucial step of getting to know each other deeply, rushing into intimacy without establishing a solid emotional foundation. By exploring the psychology behind these mistakes, we gain insight into why they happen, like the fear of loneliness or the desire for immediate happiness. The key takeaway here is that being aware of these pitfalls helps us to slow down and make better, more informed choices. Ultimately, this connects to our overall theme, fostering healthier, more mindful relationships that last. Recognizing these common errors is the first step toward avoiding them and creating genuine, lasting connections. Let's talk about prioritizing someone who doesn't prioritize you. One of the most painful experiences in relationships is investing a lot of time and energy into someone who doesn't feel the same way. This often happens because attraction or infatuation blinds us to the obvious signs that they're not interested. From a psychological perspective, humans are wired to seek validation. When we like someone who doesn't reciprocate those feelings, our brain can interpret their rejection as a reflection of our own worth. That's why rejection can often feel like proof that something is wrong with me. Now, here's the trap many of us fall into. Instead of moving on, we double down. We try harder, chase more, or cling to the hope that if we just persist, things will change. But love should be mutual. Prioritizing someone who doesn't see or value you only reinforces feelings of inadequacy. The healthier choice is to redirect your energy toward people who genuinely appreciate and value you. Remember, your time and emotional investment are best spent where it's truly reciprocated. Let's talk about another common mistake people make when they rush into relationships, believing you can fix someone. Sometimes, when we meet someone struggling with unresolved trauma, insecurities, or emotional issues, we might think that love alone can heal them. But that's where the problem begins. This tendency often comes from what's called a savior complex, a subconscious need to feel important or worthy by trying to fix someone else. While it might seem noble, it actually sets the stage for trouble. Relationships built on this foundation tend to fall apart because one partner ends up playing the therapist, not an equal partner. And here's the tricky part. You might start believing that their happiness or healing is entirely your responsibility. When they don't get better, frustration, resentment, and guilt can start to build up inside you. The key lesson here is that love can support and encourage growth, but it can't be the sole remedy for someone's issues. A healthy relationship isn't about fixing each other's brokenness. It's about walking together as two responsible, independent people who are committed to their own growth. Let's talk about entering a relationship for the wrong reasons, which is often one of the most subtle mistakes we can make. Sometimes, we rush into a relationship because we're trying to fill an unmet personal need, maybe feeling lonely, having low self-esteem, or seeking physical validation. When this happens, the relationship isn't really about love. It's more about filling an emotional void. Psychologically, this makes sense. If we haven't done the inner work, like self-reflection and building self-respect, we might mistake attention, physical intimacy, or praise as love. And while those things can feel good in the moment, they often lack the depth needed for a meaningful, long-term connection. This leads us into a common trap, confusing comfort with genuine connection. Comfort might feel nice temporarily, but once that fleeting validation fades, the relationship can fall apart. So what's the key lesson here? A strong, lasting relationship is built on authenticity. If you enter into it for the wrong reasons, whether it's loneliness, insecurity, or ego, it's likely to crumble under the weight of unmet expectations later on. Ultimately, meaningful relationships require honesty with ourselves and a genuine foundation. When we recognize and address our true motivations, we're more likely to find lasting happiness and connection. So why does falling in love so quickly feel so powerful? Well, from a scientific perspective, when we fall fast, our brain's reward system kicks into overdrive. Dopamine, the feel-good chemical, floods our brain, giving us that euphoric high, kind of like a drug. It's this rush that makes everything seem exciting and irresistible. At the same time, oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, starts to deepen our emotional attachment. This combination creates a powerful cocktail that makes us feel like we've found the one, even after just a few interactions. But here's the catch. Without taking the time to really get to know someone, and without some patience and self-awareness, that foundation can become pretty unstable. It's easy to get caught up in the rush and overlook important things that only come with time and reflection. So, while that instant connection feels incredible, it's important to remember that lasting love needs more than just chemicals. It needs patience and a clear perspective. When it comes to avoiding the pitfalls of rushing love, one of the most important concepts is value reciprocity. If your affection isn't immediately returned, try to see that as useful information rather than a reflection of your worth. It's a chance to understand where the other person is emotionally, not a personal rejection. Another key point is letting go of the rescuer role. Supporting someone is wonderful, but you can't take on their responsibility to heal or grow. That's something they need to do for themselves. Recognizing this helps prevent you from overextending and losing sight of healthy boundaries. Next, always check your motives. Ask yourself honestly, are you entering this relationship because you genuinely want to connect, or is it more about seeking validation? Knowing your true intentions keeps you grounded and helps you build authentic relationships. It's also crucial to slow down. Real love isn't a race. Attraction might happen instantly, but trust, respect, and intimacy take time to develop. Rushing these elements often leads to problems down the line. Finally, focus on building yourself first. A healthy relationship begins with a healthy individual. Self-reflection and personal growth are your best tools to avoid rushing into the wrong dynamics. When you're secure and confident in yourself, you naturally attract more stable and genuine connections. Let's talk about final thoughts. Falling in love too quickly isn't a sign of weakness. It's a deeply human experience we all go through at some point. However, if we aren't careful, rushing into love can lead us to repeat painful cycles, experiencing rejection, disappointment, and investing effort into the wrong people. It's important to recognize that love isn't about how fast we fall, but about how deep we go. A truly healthy relationship requires patience, self-awareness, and mutual effort. When we rush, we might miss the red flags that tell us we're heading in the wrong direction. So remember, speed isn't the key, depth is. Building a meaningful connection takes time, care, and understanding. Mistakes in love don't define us. Instead, they teach us valuable lessons. If you've ever rushed into love without taking your time, try not to see that as a failure. Think of it more as training, an opportunity to learn what works and what doesn't. Every lesson you learn helps shape you into someone who's better equipped to build a meaningful relationship. And not just any relationship, but a partnership based on respect, stability, and authenticity. So remember, it's okay to stumble. These experiences are what prepare us for healthier, more fulfilling connections in the future.